Hey guys, this is Chris Fayte with Cheat the Game coming back at you. Today I wanted to take a look at Battlefield 5. I know there's a lot of controversy behind this game, and no matter what side of the fence you own, I do understand how EA is. Nobody likes them, and they have really disgraced their fan base and everything, so I totally get that side. 100%. Hey, God love you, more power to you. And also dedicated die-hard fans of Battlefield 5, God love you too. Hey, whatever side of the fence you own, do your thing, alright? But see, I do my thing also, and that's I hack games, and I enjoy it. So, but today I'm going to be taking a look at stealth. Now this is for the offline. This is not online, nor will my cheat table work online. I don't believe it'll work online. I don't really know, don't really care. And I will have my cheat table for download. If you want it, feel free. But like I say, it's only for, I believe, the very first version that came out. So, you know how they update stuff like this just all the time. So I don't know if it'll work on later versions or not. If you know how to update AOBs, by all means go ahead. But I doubt it will work online, and even if it did, you'll get caught just like that. You'll be banned. Boom, it's over. So, but I always encourage offline game hacking. Never go online with game hacks, and that's just where my stance is on that. That being said, out of the way, we're going to take a look at full stealth, and this basically just disables all the AI. Now, I'm not going into how to find the sight camera. Every single stealth video I've got on my channel, and I'll link a couple of them up here for you. Feel free to go take a look at it. It's the exact method in those videos that I used to find this sight camera. Okay? And you'll see me do it because I actually kind of need to do it a little bit just so I can get the break and trace to work. But what we're going to do is where it's adding, where he's starting to detect you or starting to see you, we got a bar that shows up, and we're going to place a break and trace on that particular opcode that is adding that information or adding to that value, just so we can break and trace and see down the call structure where it came from. And that's how we're going to get full stealth, where they don't hear you, they don't see you, they don't react to you in any way, form, or fashion. You can blow stuff up, you can just go smack them in the face. They're not going to acknowledge you. So, and that's the kind of stealth that we did here. But the condition that we put on the break and trace, now in the past I've done a conditional break and trace where we just look at the address. We put like whatever the base registry is equal to the address that you're wanting to break and trace on. And that works if it's not constantly writing to it already, but if it's constantly writing to that address, then we have to do a different type of conditional break and trace. So this time we got to give it a little more information. So this time it's always writing 0 to it, it's always holding that 0 to it until he starts to detect us. So this time we're going to do a conditional break and trace to where we only want it to break when that value starts becoming bigger than 0. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me bring everything up. I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, thanks for holding. I went ahead and found the sight camera for the one enemy I got over here. So here's his sight camera. You can see right now it's at 0. It goes from 0 to 1, being fully detected. And what we need to do is go ahead and place the debugger on it, find out what accesses this address. So let's go ahead and resume. Now I'm crouched down and I'm already over here. Now it's going to run real slow while the debugger's running, so I apologize about that. And what we're looking is whatever pops up over here, whatever's going to pop up over here when it starts to increase is what we want to look at. There it goes. Let's just get back over. Okay. All right, and this is the bad boy right here. This is one that's adding. It's adding to XMM mode, and it's coming down here and writing it to our sight camera, the guy's sight camera. So let's go to this location in memory. And what I want to do is I set a hotkey already. Now this game constantly runs. Now it is going to constantly run while it's still active and everything. And when you put a break and trace on it, even when it's at 0, it still hits it before it does anything. So it doesn't really give you an accurate call structure. So we need to set a different type of break and trace on it. So in the scan settings, in the hotkeys, I set a hotkey to the numeric, the period or the dot on the keypad, and that's what we use, and we're going to pause the game fully so that nothing is running, and that just freezes the entire game. There's absolutely nothing running on it. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and set a break and trace just right here where it's writing to it, or it's writing to the address. And this is what we got. Let me let it go back to 0 before we do that. So let me go ahead and turn it back off. Alright. And I'm going to show you. As soon as he just stops moving around this. Okay, good. He's back to 0. Okay. And let me turn down the sound here, because I think it's picking up a little too much on the microphone. I apologize. My headphones went out on me, so I can't really use them right now. Let me move this out of the way. Now let's take a look at this all together. And the reason that we need to use a break and trace, I know he's alone right now, but there are patrols moving about, and then they start coming into play also. So this is a shared opcode, okay? And we can possibly just go ahead and use his RDI base address. But I really want to show you this. In certain situations, you'll have codes that are just constantly writing to it and things like that. And sometimes they do share a base address where maybe there are different offsets or things like that. You have all kind of situations. But in this case, we want to set a break and trace to where, let's go ahead and pause it. We want to set a break and trace to where it only will initiate once this value starts going up from 0 right here. So what we do is we just copy the address. Now this is a dynamic address. It does change later. Now you can use the registry plus offset, but why do things the harder way, when you have the address itself? So we're going to use the address itself that is working at this time in our conditional break and trace. So we pause the game completely. We're going to go ahead and set a break and trace on it, and I always make sure these 3 are check marked, the top 3. Click OK. And what we want to do is come over here to View, Breakpoint List, right click on the breakpoint. This is our breakpoint where the break and trace is. We're going to set and change condition like this. We're going to come over here to Easy. Now here's what you need to do. Now this is a float value, remember, so we want it to read a float value. We're going to put parentheses like that, and we need to put it in Lua format, which is 0x and then the address like that. And we want it to initiate when it is greater than 0. Does that make sense to you? It's 0 right now, so whenever that's not 0 anymore, or greater than 0, any value that's greater than 0, I want you to break on that. So we're going to put the condition on it, and it will not break until that occurs. So let's go ahead and go over to it. Now I'm sorry if you can't hear it. Let's bring our tracer up over here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get in his view site, and there it goes. See that? Just let it do its thing. And we're going to get over here out of the way, and you can see it raised up over 0, and now we got the call structure for this location. And what I do is I follow the call structure, and I went down to another area, I believe. This isn't looking familiar. Yeah, it is. It is right here. That's the location I went to. Now, what I did was I went all the way up here. I select current function, and I went up here and I set a script to have this return, where it just did not run any of that call structure. So this is how I do that. AAB Injection, and I just call it stealth. And we're just going to do a direct byte manipulation, in which a return is C3. We're going to use the C3 byte for return. We're going to alloc that. Take out the alloc. Take out that. We need our symbol. We need to take out that label. We're just going to move this up and out of the way and take out the alloc min. And we only need these 2 bytes right here. So DB and C3 and then 90. Just knock out that access byte because we only need the return. And we're going to save that to the current cheat table. Let me show you what it does. Go ahead and label that stealth for right now. And this is what it does right here. So when I turn it on, it places a return there and a NOP. And it doesn't run anything here. So whatever caused this function, it just returns it. So, and when you let it go, it makes it go back to normal. So let me show you. And his sight camera's back down to 0. So let's turn the sound back up. And now when we go to him, nothing. Let me turn on my infinite ammo. Turn on infinite health also. Look, I can sit here and shoot him in the leg. Nothing. Doesn't phase him. So you can pretty much just walk through everything. Look at this. Not a thing. But if I turn it off, take a look. Boom. Automatically. But I got my infinite health on so he can shoot me all day long. Take a look. But I want to show you guys that because we do run into situations where the address is constantly being written to, and we need to find different ways of doing that. So, you know, this really works when you want it to, oh, I need it to be a certain value, or I need it to be greater than a certain value. If I needed it to be like at a certain value, what I would do is the same thing. Let me bring up a notepad. Say, I only want it to activate when it reached the value of 1. Well, I'd just do the same thing. Read float with the parentheses, then you put OX and the address. And I've already copied and pasted the bytes. Let me re-grab that address. Go back to the notepad and just put in the address, and you just put when is equal. And so you got 3 different ones. You got when it's greater than the value, you got when it's less than the value, or you got when it's equal to the value of whatever you want. And I would just put it like that, or yeah, just the value. You don't have to put OX or anything like that, only for offsets and addresses. So and that would work. It would only break and trace when it reached 1. So, you know, I just wanted to throw this information out there. I have had some questions in the past in regards to conditional breaks. Now, this goes for any type of breakpoint, any type of conditional breakpoint where you want it to break on a certain value, or when it goes up, or whether it goes down. So that will help you also. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Now, you can also do that with the registries as well, so keep that in mind. But when you put a registry, I forgot what registry, I think it was an RCX plus OC, you have to put it as OX OC or something like that. So keep that in mind. But if you have the dynamic address, just go ahead and use that. That's the better option anyway for me. Anyway, that's what I do. And you see it works just fine. So just remember your commands. Read float, and if it's a 4 byte, it would be read integer. Okay? Then you have your dynamic address that you've already found, and then when the value goes up. If it constantly changes address, then you'll have to go with the registry itself and the offset, but it still works, and you'll be just fine. So I do hope that helps you. I had this question in the past, and I want to thank Dark Bite for his information on the Cheat Engine forums for that. I want to thank my partners right quick. Thank you guys so much for continuing to stick with me. It's because of your kind donations, CTG keeps going. We got a lot of big things coming up here in the future, so stick around. They get some good perks over at the Patreon channel, so if you would like some of those perks too, this month they got the full Lena course that's unpassworded for reverse engineering. And if you ever wondered about how they crack these software programs and everything, and if you really want to learn Ollie Debugger, it is an amazing tutorial series, totally geared for beginners. I totally recommend it, and I gave it to the Patreon partners for this month. So come over and join us. It's only $1 a month, and I'm going to be releasing this cheat table pretty soon. I'm still working on it, but I'll go ahead and give you what I got if you just want the cheats already and not have to worry with it, by all means. But like I said, it might not work for an updated version, it may not work on your version at all, I don't know. But like I say, take that with a grain of salt. Alright guys, but I'm going to go ahead and kick on out of here. I just wanted to share this information with you because it's really been working great for me, so I thought you guys might benefit off of it too. Well, you guys take care, keep on hacking, most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. Cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, it doesn't mind cheating you. You all take care now.